paper, CBC was destined to beat Kirkwood in this game. Because on paper, specifically the history books, CBC is a superpower in St. Louis. They're a program that's won 5 state championships in 8 trips and won 2 of the last 3 state titles. And entering tonight's game, CBC's looked as good as they've ever been. After losing to Bryan High School, an eventual Arkansas state champion, CBC went on an 8-game winning streak, beating every team by at least 2 touchdowns.
To even earn a spot in tonight's district championship game, CBC rolled over Marquette with a 48-point shutout.
And while Kirkwood has its own stars and own share of state titles, CBC has dominated this series. 3 games, 3 victories, all by at least 27 points. So yeah, on paper, a 4th loss to the Cadets was a foregone conclusion. But these games aren't played on paper. Any team has a chance to beat anyone, even if that chance is a total shot in the dark. Neither team really started this game off well, but Kirkwood's night started off as bad as you can imagine. Forced to punt from their own end zone, Kirkwood kicked it right to CBC's Jaden Reed, who saw a path to the end zone and took it, giving his team an early 6-0 lead. An offense struggling in the damp, cold atmosphere on the road, that's not unheard of. But a struggling Kirkwood offense? Okay, that's a little odd. And that's because this year, the Pioneer offense is electric. Throughout the season, it's been a well-oiled machine filled with playmakers and led by a tree-sized southpaw named Owen Neslage, who at this point in the season is closing in on 4,000 passing yards for the year. But CBC's defense was suffocating. In the first quarter, they grounded the passing game and stuffed the run with a wall of purple and gold. The Pioneers didn't have an answer. They did, however, have Larry Robinson, who's the leading man in this passing attack. With the offense starting deep from their own territory, Neslage needed some breathing room. After taking the snap from the gun, he saw Robinson and launched a missile down the hashes to his senior receiver for a 40-yard gain. Not a bad way to get your first down of the night. Neslage completed 2 more passes and even ran the ball to secure a few more first downs and put Kirkwood just inside CBC territory. For the first time tonight, the offense was looking good. So good that they decided to challenge CBC's secondary. Near midfield, Neslage took the snap and found the perfect target, Chris Potter. The stealthy do-it-all receiver cradled the rainbow shot from Neslage and carried it across the plane for Kirkwood's first touchdown. The celebration doesn't last long, because now Nick McClellan has the ball again. If you don't know who Nick McClellan is, to put it simply, he is dangerous. He could beat you on the ground or through the air, and he commands this offense like an orchestra conductor. And after Kirkwood's touchdown, he wasted little time moving the Cadets down the field. Once they got to the red zone, CBC decided to test Kirkwood's secondary as well. From the gun, McClellan launched a rainbow shot of his own, right over Cordy Gage's back shoulder. So in the past, this is where hope fades away. CBC gets the lead, and teams of the past would get left behind in a double-digit deficit. But this isn't the same Kirkwood. It's a program with a fierce defense and a quarterback who dishes the ball around the field like a blackjack dealer throwing cards around the table. And at this table, there are 4 big players: Larry Robinson, Chris Potter, Jacob Eberhardt, and Jameer Sloan. And with a chance to take the lead, Neslage finds one of his biggest weapons, Jacob Eberhardt. Eberhardt is a 4-star recruit playing 2 positions, and he is a major threat in both. After a costly personal foul penalty moved CBC inside Kirkwood's territory, the Cadets tried to cash in with a deep shot on first down, right to number 1 receiver Corey Sims. But Eberhardt defends passes as well as he catches them, and he kept Kirkwood's slim lead heading into halftime. Pioneer offense got the ball to start the second half and needed to score to keep a surging CBC at bay. On their first drive of the half, Neslich looked through the fingers of an oncoming defender and got the ball to Eberhardt, which, in any other case, might have only gone for a short gain. But Eberhardt sidestepped, stiff-armed, and slipped past CBC defenders for a 67-yard touchdown, putting the Pioneers up by 9 points. Then, on the ensuing drive, the Pioneers' offense extended their lead, but at a grueling cost. Play by play and yard by yard, Kirkwood chipped away at CBC's defense until they finally punched it in for another touchdown. For the first time in a long time, the Cadets had their backs against the wall. At this point in the game, they're down by 15 late in the third. A comeback from any other team might have been impossible, but CBC isn't any other team, and no other team has Nick McClellan. In 7 plays, McClellan and the CBC offense drove the length of the field and cut the lead to 8. On the ensuing Kirkwood drive and with the Pioneers in the red zone, the Cadets' defense unleashed chaos. Near turnovers poured cold water on every opportunity for a Kirkwood touchdown. And when the Pioneers tried to settle for a field goal, the ball sailed wide right. And once again, the CBC quarterback went to work. First, he tore off a massive run between the hash marks for a first down. And after consecutive roadblocks from the Pioneers' defense near the goal line, McClellan finally found an opening and drove the ball in himself. But instead of going for the PAT, CBC decided to gamble and go for the 2-point conversion to tie the game. After the snap, McClellan rolled back to his right, and for a moment, it looked like the gamble was going to pay off. But then, Grant Parsons extended his arm just enough to bet the ball down, killing the play and preserving Kirkwood's lead. After a gritty and scoreless back and forth, CBC took possession for one final time, with 1 minute and 16 seconds left on the clock. On the first play of the drive, McClellan found a man downfield for a massive gain, placing CBC inside Kirkwood territory. But as time slipped away, so did CBC's opportunities. Out of field goal range and out of time, the Cadets' offense lined up on 4th down for one last shot at a comeback. The season came down to this. Finally, after years of heartbreak, Kirkwood completed the impossible. The emotions of this night were overwhelming. Through every high and every low, Kirkwood's program remained arm in arm with its community. And now, after reaching the summit and pulling off the upset of the year, possibly the decade, the emotions can't help but pour out. Tonight isn't just about the team. It's about everyone. It's about family and friends, teammates and neighbors, all coming together for a moment in time, a shot in the dark that they'll remember forever.